Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu to some of you, and peace to the rest of you. This is Black Heart sign of Black in again. I've already recorded this, but because of technology, the volume didn't work. And I'm just really quickly going to say that in the last video, I talked about how black folk ain't the only niggas. Trifling is everywhere. Major trifling is all over the planet. It's everywhere. But I wanted to say this though too. Because trifling is everywhere, I want y'all to understand too that this is exactly why we should not allow anybody, be it sisters or a few select men, to pre-select the jawline brothers to come along and tell us that we just need to step it up in order for black women to respect us, let alone be attracted to us. And the reason for that is exactly entitled in the last video that I recorded. The reason for that is that, like I said, black folk ain't the only niggas. And I've been to a family function here, a picnic that a family had, and I saw that there was this guy who started an argument with a friend of mine because he said some racist stuff. And it was jacked up that he said it, to be honest, because as he was sitting up here saying this racist stuff, and his own family members sided with my friend against him because, well, frankly, my friend was right and he was wrong. But this is where it gets interesting. When I badmouthed this racist bastard to his own relatives later, they said, well, don't really pay him too much attention because he's a drug addict. And I balked and said, wait a minute. This nigga's a drug addict. Why is he married? And they told me, well, I asked them, how do you know that he's a drug addict? And they said, he's married to our sister. And that's when I said, you niggas, let this dude marry your sister. Found out he was a drug addict, and you did not take the marriage in front of a judge to get it annulled when you could have done so when you had a perfect case. So this is what it's come to, huh? This is what's going on. It's okay for some of these guys, look, get the marriage annulled, and if she still wants another husband, I'll look after her. I'll show her what a real husband is. You'll thank me later, and she will too. And they said to me, you know, it's not that big a deal. And I had to stop and say, no, not to me, but to y'all it is. Look, I'm not the one that's living with a drug addict. She is. But I'm offering her a way out. I'm being nice about it. See, at that time, I was married, but so I could marry to her. I had 3 slots open. And I wasn't saying this to disrespect my wife at the time. She was all right with polygamy. But you see, that's the whole point about it. That's the thing. Eventually I had to stop and I had to say that, eventually I had to stop and I had to say, look, you know, this is getting ridiculous. They can be addicted to drugs and be married. And when I go back to the States, and I want to tell sisters that they do need to work out some inner demons when it comes to what kind of men they want. I'm told that I'm just bitter and I just need to step my game up, and you know, maybe if I could just be a jawline dude, or you get the picture. I'm told I shouldn't even discuss this, and if I do, I'm bitter. No, it's not the way this works. That's not the way this works. The way this works is actually quite simple. In any functional society, when women chase down dudes because of their dysfunction, everybody else looks and says, what is your problem? Everyone else would look and say, something's wrong with her. She's not normal. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and say it. That's what we're dealing with in Black America. Sisters ain't got to like me, they ain't got to hate me, but we do have to understand that at the end of the day, we are dealing with an abnormal standard. And instead of them saying, well, the standard is abnormal, and no, instead of them saying that, they're coming along and looking at brothers and telling brothers, well, no, you're just subpar. And that's all they're saying. And then they want to know why it is that brothers are jumping and hopping the fence and going elsewhere. Look, they're supposed to do that. But anyway, all I'm really getting at the end of the day, is that because, in fact, niggas are everywhere, and these niggas are able to marry beautiful women that are younger than them, that aren't bringing them a bunch of other men's kids, and be drug addicts. We're not even saying that that's what should happen. We're not saying that sisters should take us when we're drug addicted and drug addled. We're simply saying that when we are normal men, we should not be told that we are inadequate. That's the worst thing we have said. If we are normal men, then we should not be made to feel like we're somehow still inadequate because we're normal. And Obsidian brought up a valid point about this. Obsidian said, at the end of the day, it's a valid question to ask. If you were successful at something only 14% of the time, you're going to be asked about it. Or you're going to ask why it only works 14% of the time. Someone's going to ask the questions, and it's not going to be considered acceptable and just a part of life. But because it's Western women, we're told to accept that. Why? And that's a valid question. Why accept it? That being said, I think I've made the case for why it is that black men should not have to meet any higher standards than anyone else. Should we have to meet standards? Yes, but we should also be allowed to have these same standards for women to meet, or comparable standards, and we're not even allowed to do that. But brothers, it is important that you not let these ladies tell you that you have to meet all these standards and they don't. But it is more important for you brothers to understand that you should not let some of these pre-selected men who don't know what you're going through and what you have been through tell you the same thing. Don't even let them come along and say, well, you just need to be like me and work your game up and, put some time in the gym if you want X, Y, and Z. Okay, so you mean if I want to be treated with respect and not be told that I have to be a stepdad when other men don't? That's what you're saying. We need to understand that it's not just these ladies that are saying this to you and pushing this. You need to understand, brothers, that you got to tell some of these dudes the same thing. No, I don't need to do a goddamn thing extra that these ladies aren't doing. Not at all. And how do we know? Because it actually is only in the West that this is this big a problem. I've confirmed it. I'm living abroad and I'm telling you this. Don't let these men come along and tell you this. No, you don't need to be a drug addict. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that if you are not one and you have a sense of responsibility and you know the sacrifices you made in life, you don't let women come along and tell you that you didn't make enough. That's when you stop them in their tracks and you say to them, no, we're not playing this game. We're not doing that. If I got to make extra sacrifices and I got to meet higher standards than other men to get you, you're going to have to meet higher standards than another woman to get me. Straight up. If that geeky white dude can come along and get you and get your respect and you fuck the shuck up when he talks, then hey, look, enough of that. If I deal with that enough times, then yes, you're going to have to do things that white women don't have to do to get me. Or you're going to have to do things that Latin American women don't have to do to get me. Or that Asian women don't have to do to get me. And if I don't have to meet these extra standards and I'm treated with respect, then I'm not going to hold you to extra standards and disrespect you like that either. That's what we need to tell them. That's all. And we need to tell these dudes too, you ain't tricking me with that stuff. You're not fooling me with that. You've had it easier and good for you. That's fine. But don't act like something's wrong with me because I didn't have it as easy as you. Because I didn't win the same lottery you did. Don't act like I'm just a trifling nigga that's always broke. I hope this has been a benefit. Assalamu alaikum.